The tools required: side cutters, open barrel and insulated crimp tool, insulation tape, electrical screwdriver, lighter or heat gun for heat shrink obviously, solder, and some insulated terminals. This assessment will test you in the required ways for all of the components, or most of the components in this course. You'll also have 1/2 meter of double insulated 2-core, 1 meter of double insulated 5-core trailer wire. You'll be provided with the project box that will have 2 combination lamps and 2 side lamps. They may not be mounted in this exact manner, but they will be mounted somehow similar to this. You also have a 7-pin trailer plug. Alright, the lenses for the lamps have a removable lens which will need to be glued in place, and a tin divider. They also have 2 screws that hold the lens on, and require 2 21 watt lamps and 2 10 watt lamps or bulbs per light. So that is 4 21 watt bulbs and 2 10 watt bulbs. We'll also be using a soldering iron, and you will require a damp sponge to keep that soldering iron tip clean. The other option is a damp rag, which will do the job just as well. Alright, proceeding forward with this task, it can be carried out in whichever sequence you like, but following this step by step will obviously get it done in a way that you can follow. So take our 2-core, we'll remove some of the insulation from our 2-core to expose the 2 wires. That can be done using the side cutters or using the wire strippers. Obviously the wire strippers have the pre-selected hole sizes for our wire. Using wire strippers or side cutters, you'll obviously score the insulation around where you're going to cut it off. You will then, with the flat edge facing outwards, put your thumb against the side cutters and press away from yourself, removing the insulation. Very straightforward, takes a little bit of practice, but if you do it enough times you'll get used to it. Alright, taking one of our insulated terminals, we can fold over the core of our wiring and slide it inside the insulated terminal, twisting the insulated terminal as we go, helps it go in. If you look down the barrel of the crimp, you can see that the wiring has come all the way through and is stopping against the tongue, which determines how far the wiring can go through. You can also see it through the slightly clear cover of the insulator if you look carefully enough. Taking our ratcheting crimp tool, the connector goes in towards the blue coloured dot. The terminal should be just sticking out the far side to align it properly. That means it's evenly in either way. Squeezing the crimp tool will crush the crimp. It must be squeezed all the way before the ratchet will release. We have one crimp done, nice and solid. Now we'll notice that our insulated terminals are female and male. If you take the black wire of our insulated twin, remove the insulation in the same manner as before, fold it over. We're going to now take the opposite, so the male to this female, and we're going to place it over this wire. twisting as we go. It's on there nice and snug. Looking down the barrel, you can see our wiring is sticking out. Again with the crimp tool, using the blue dot, making sure it's evenly in the crimp tool. Squeeze until the ratchet releases. There we go. This means obviously that our wiring can plug in to itself. It's not what we're doing, but this is the intended outcome. One of our wires, our red, our positive, is a female crimp, and our negative is a male crimp. Then put your twin core down on the bench, obviously keeping your workspace as tidy as possible the whole time to stop you from losing things or misplacing things. I'm going to expose one of our side lamps. We're going to do the same thing, so we're going to remove a small amount of the insulation. These lamps may or may not have been used before in a previous class, so they may have the insulation bared off, they may have the wiring staggered. Either way, all you will do is bare off around 40 to 50 mils of external insulation and then strip the wiring back. So stripping off the brown, which is the positive, and the the white, which is the negative. Twisting our wires because they are a smaller diameter than the previous 2-core. Folding over. Now, the terminals that are on our 2-core that we just crimped on, we want the opposite terminal. So our red one has a female. We now have the male to that female, and we need to put it onto the brown wire. So the brown wire is our positive. We need to place the male terminal on the brown wire. Crimp it up. The remaining terminal is female. We've obviously folded our wiring over to give us a double crimp. Slide the terminal over and crimp it up. There we go. Now, at this stage, you would take a photo for evidence of crimping an insulated terminal. You have a female insulated terminal, you have a male insulated terminal, you have lots of evidence that you are capable of making these crimps correctly. Our red wire is obviously going to plug into our brown wire, and our black wire is going to plug into our white wire. Like so. Alright, taking our twin core, you can just do a little knot and stick it to the side so it's out of the way. Next thing we're going to do is we'll take our 7-core trailer wire. Alright. We're going to place the 7-core trailer wire through from the back through one of our lamps, and the other end is going to go through the other lamp. If there are multiple holes in your lamps, then you are going to put it through the hole on the top side of the insulator. You can pull your wiring through as far as you want. You're going to take your side cutters and you're going to remove approximately 100 mils of that insulation. You do that by snipping with the very tip of the side cutters carefully around that insulation. If you can't manage to snip around that insulation tidily, then there is a Stanley knife blade available, but coming to terms with using the tools that are appropriate for the job is something that you will need to do, so using the side cutters is the best option. You may pull the wiring through the other lamp and snip off approximately 100 mils. When I say approximately, you don't need to get a measuring tape and measure it or anything so like that. You should be able to grasp about how much 100 millimeters is. There is a small black, what is essentially string, inside your 5-core wiring. You may remove it, or it is there for production of the wiring in the factory. Right. With our 5-core poking through our lamp, we're going to take the white wire and we're going to snip it at about 30 millimeters. The same goes for the opposite one. Approximately 30 millimeters. I'm taking my wiring offcuts and then they're all going in one place. If you have been given a clear container for your rubbish, put the rubbish in the container. Easy. Right, now your red wire, you'll snip at approximately 30 mils longer than the white wire, and the same goes for the other side. Offcuts in the bin. Now, when we look at our lamps, we are essentially looking at the rear of a car or the rear of a trailer. The left-hand lamp will use the yellow wire for its indicator. The right-hand lamp will use the green wire for its indicator, which means the other colour is not necessary. So with your right-hand lamp, take out your yellow wire and snip it off. Place it in the bin. On your left-hand lamp, take your green wire and snip it off and place it in the bin. Your brown and your green, or your brown and your yellow, should be all the same length. Your wiring should look something like this. Remove 10 millimeters of each wire using the same technique. These are nice sharp side cutters. All you're doing is slightly scoring the insulation and then pressing your thumb against the side cutters and pushing it away. Slight score, push away. Slight score, push away. If you squeeze too hard, you'll cut through the wire. If it's too hard, you're pushing too hard. Take all your little tidbits of insulation and throw them in the rubbish. Now all your wiring can be twisted to stop the strands from fraying. Once it's all twisted, twist, 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 yep. Once it's all twisted, they can be folded in half. Folded in half, folded in half. Right. A small number 1 Phillips screwdriver is required to undo the screws in the insulated terminals. If we look at our lamps, we can see that this end is non-insulated and this end has an insulation ring around it. This is the end that our power will go into. This end is common with the ground. So all of these little screws can be unwound until there's enough room to poke the wire in, but not so much that they fall out. And same with the ground common at the base there. So we can pull our wiring back through. And just to be fiddly, we can take long nose pliers and place the wiring inside the hole. Then do the screw up until it contacts the wire. Don't overdo it, you will tear the lug off the boss and the lights will be ruined. Now take your yellow wire, which is your indicator, run it to the left, down, and then up the inside of the insulated connector. Again, using your little number 1 screwdriver, do it up until it contacts the wiring, but not so much that you tear the lug out of the light. Give it a little tug, it won't come out. Good as gold. Our red wire is going to go the same, down, and then up inside the center bulb, which is our stop lamp. We're going to then do up our little screw until it contacts the wiring, but not so much that it destroys the light. And the same with our brown wire. It's going to come down, and then make sure it's not snagging wires. It's going to go down and then up. If the wiring doesn't want to go up inside the insulated lug, it's because your screw is still poking through, stopping it from coming through, so just loosen it off a bit. Alright, left hand lamp, done. Ensure that your wiring does not go behind where the bulbs go. As the bulbs heat up, they will melt the wiring. Right. Again, removing all our screws enough so our wiring can poke through. We'll take our long nose pliers and direct our wiring down. Inside the lug, there we go, and do it up until it contacts the wiring, but not so much that it destroys the light. Our indicator needs to go inside terminal. Our brake lamp to the center, and our tail light brown to the furthest. Right. Is our lamps terminated, or wired if you will. Very simple. Right, from here we can take our 5-core wiring. We're going to run the two together, pinch them together. We're going to meet the side light in the middle here, and we're going to cut it off. That gives us around 300 mils of 5-core left and 2 tails from our lamps. Next thing on the list, we're going to remove around, let's say roughly 80 mils of the insulation from our right hand combination lamp. Once we've removed that in the bin, on our right hand lamp, our yellow wire is obviously not doing anything, so you can pull it out. Our little black strand is obviously not doing anything, so you can pull it out in the bin. Our left hand lamp is the same. strip off some of the insulation. Take our rubbish and put it in the bin. On this side, clearly our green wire is doing nothing, so our green wire can be removed. Our little black strand can be removed. Right, without forgetting our extra 300mm piece of trailer wire, we're going to do the same. We're going to snip off around 800mm of the insulation. Clearly I'm only using the very tip of the side cutters to pinch the insulation. The little black wire or little black string can be removed into the bin. We need all of the wires so they will all stay. We're going to take our side cutters and we're going to score off 10mm of each one. Once we have 10mm of each one scored off, we can give them a little twist so they don't fray. And we're going to put it to the side. While we're doing this, we're going to get our soldering iron warming up. So we're going to get obviously power for the soldering iron. And we're going to plug our soldering iron in so it is warming up. Right, back to the wiring that's coming from our lamps. We're going to take 10mm off each of those as well. Removing the insulation from the wiring and then twisting to prevent it from fraying. Right, once these are twisted, we're going to take our two white wires and we're going to twist them together like so. We're going to take our two red wires. Now, twisting them together is quite simple if you do it correctly. Cross the two wires over and turn them. Same with the brown wires. Twist the wires together. Our green wire and our yellow wire are individual indicators. They will clearly not be joined to anything else, or not be joined to each other. Alright, take the remainder of your trailer wiring, the remainder of your 5 core, it's about 30mm long. Take your yellow wire and your other yellow wire, and you're going to join them together end on end. We're going to make this wire longer, not side by side, but end on end. Once that is joined together, you can take your green wire and join it end on end, not side by side. The same with your white wire, end on end, not side by side. Your red wire, again, end on end, not side by side. And your brown wire, end on end, not side by side. Alright, Is our soldering iron warm? Not quite. While our soldering iron is still warming up, we're going to take our remaining sidelight. We're going to strip off around 30 mils of the insulation. We're also going to strip off around 10 mils of the insulation from the individual wires. We're then going to twist them together so they do not fray. We're going to take our 500 mils of 2-core, and now we have to make a splice join. One of the soldering connections you have to make is a splice join, so we will make a splice join. Make sure our 2-core can reach our side lamp, and you need to remove the insulation without cutting through it. So remove the insulation, give ourselves around 50 millimeters, remove the insulation, and then once the insulation is removed, or once the insulation's snipped, we can snip it up the side like so. Remove the insulation so our wiring is exposed. We're going to take our side cutters and we're going to bare the wiring back, and then bare the wiring back from the other wire. Once we have our wiring bared back, we're going to take the wiring from our side lamp and we're going to splice it in to the 2-core. A splice is where one of our wires is side by side and one of our connections is end on end. Once our connection is spliced side by side with one wire, end on end with the other, we can solder it together. Our soldering iron should be warm by now. This rag has been dampened. Take our solder. Great, alright. Soldering by holding our iron beneath the join and feeding the solder into the point where the iron meets the wiring. I'm not feeding the solder into the iron, I'm not feeding the solder into the wire, I'm feeding the solder into the point where the two meet. It's the hottest point. Soldered, alright? Same with our 5-core. Our iron comes up below. Our solder goes in at the point that they touch. Ensure you have adequate ventilation, the door should be open, the fan should be going to get the smoke away from your face. My suggestion is to exhale while you're soldering. Alright, we had to swap out batteries because we went flat. Where are we? Right, so all of our 5 cores are joined together, end on end, colour for colour. Our wiring is well soldered. Our solder has permeated all the way through our joins. We've got no real sharp snaggly bits. Beautiful. Our splice join is also nice and soldered there. What we're going to do from this point is we're going to unplug our soldering iron so it doesn't overheat. We're going to take our electrical tape and we're going to insulate our wiring. Remove a section about, I don't know, 40 mil long. Actually, it only probably needs to be around 20 mil to be perfectly honest. You're then going to wrap that around your solder joints. Nice and tight, nice and straight. Easy. Right, because our splices run side by side, it's easy to tape them up beautifully. Obviously before taping them up, you should be taking a photo for evidence of your splice solder join. The same with your butt solder join. This is also, you could say it's evidence of a splice as well, but we butted them together. So there we go, there's our butt, there's our splice, no worries. Piece of tape, 30mm long, around your wire, wrap it together. I don't want to see big ugly wads of tape. This is more than easy to do. Place our tape on, wrap it around. Really simple. There's no reason for our joints to be ugly, no reason for our tape to be ugly. Take your time, do it properly. This is an assessment, it should be done correctly. Alright, once our tape is all insulated, again, evidence for insulation with electrical tape. Alright, now you can, keeping everything relatively tidy, take your sock cutters and remove only around 30 mils from our 5 core. Once you've removed, again, a small amount, you can slide the 5 core down. So holding on to this end, you can slide our 5 core down and cover up the bits that we've removed. Takes a little bit of work to do, but we'll get it to slide down there. Piece of piss. Right, once that's down there, you can take your remaining wires and your piece of 2 core, remove the insulation from the 2 core, right, removing the insulation from the 2 core. We need to provide one final demonstration, which will be insulation using heat shrink. So with our 2 core, turn our soldering iron back on. It's better to accidentally turn it off than to accidentally not turn it off. So the wiring we need is the brown wire and the white wire. Don't be confused because this is red, that it should go to red. It doesn't, it goes to the brown wire. So we're going to strip a small amount of the brown wire, strip a small amount of the white wire, again splice, so side by side. This is not a T, this is a splice. Same with our brown wire, side by side. Our soldering iron should still be warm. Give it a clean. Solder again. Solder in the point where the iron meets the wire. Adequate ventilation, a fan or an open doorway. Exhale while you're soldering. Easy peasy. Again, unplug the soldering iron so you don't forget to unplug the soldering iron. Once our joint has cooled down, obviously not immediately because it will still be warm. Once our joint has cooled down, you can touch it. Take your heat shrink, slide it over the wire, spin it as you slide it down the wire, it'll go on easier. Same with the brown wire. Spin it as you go down. you're going to take either the lighter or the heat gun. You're going to light the lighter and you're just going to wave it underneath the heat shrink. You don't want to hold it there. The heat shrink is not flame proof, it will burn, so we're trying to apply a moderate amount of heat, not burn the heat shrink. Turn it over to get both sides. Photo evidence solder joint insulated with heat shrink. Once that's done, we're going to take our 5 remaining wires. We're going to take our trailer plug, remove the lug from the back of the trailer plug, lug, grommet, call it whatever you like. You're going to take that and you're going to slide it over the 5 wires. Or 7 wires as it will be at this stage. You're going to take the rubber grommet and you also slide that over the 5 wires. Do not forget to do this, otherwise you'll be annoyed with yourself at the end. Sliding it all the way over. We'll take our trailer plug. Our trailer plug has a cable retention strap which is screwed down here to hold the cable. That can be placed inside the box. Alright, we're going to take our wire. We're going to cut our white wire about halfway. With our white wire cut about halfway, we're going to strip 10 mils of insulation off it, twist it, fold it. We're going to take our brown and our red wires. We're going to cut them halfway between the end of the white wire and their own end, about there. Again, remove 10 mils of insulation, twist, fold, twist, fold. Now, yellow and green wires can stay the same length. Remove the insulation, around 10 mils, twist, fold, twist, fold. Take our small electrical screwdriver and looking at our center pin, number 3, labelled earth, we're going to unscrew it until we can see down the barrel. We're going to go to pin 7, tail, unscrew it so we can see down the barrel. Pin 4, signal, unscrew it until we can see down the barrel. Back to 6, brake, unscrew it till we can see down the barrel, and the same with number 1, signal, left, unscrew it till we can see down the barrel. Left is yellow, slide it in there, nip it up, don't overdo it, we're not trying to destroy the trail plug. Next one, 6 is brake, slide it in there, nip it up, again, not so tight that we destroy the plug. A nice little short one, earth, can go in the center pin, nip it up, followed by our brown, nip that up, and our green finally in the end. Our trail plug should go green, brown, white, red, yellow, and our wiring will live inside the trail plug like so. Fitting our cable retention goes as so. It's stepped up with a little grated piece. You put that face down because it holds onto the wires. You then put our screws in and do them up. Same with the other side. Screw in, do it up. Once it is together, take a photo for evidence, and you may reapply the cap without throwing it across the room. Doing up our grommet will push in the rubber seal. You don't need to do it all the way, just to this point is fine. At this stage, all our wiring is connected. Now we have to take our bulbs. So we have two 21-watt bulbs per lamp. One goes in the indicator, one goes in the stop lamp. Our smaller bulb is a 10-watt, it goes in the tail lamp. If any of our bulbs are loose, you can take the terminals and give them a slight squeeze to increase the tension. Again, one 21-watt bulb in the indicator, one 21-watt bulb in the stop light, and one 10-watt bulb in the tail light. Once our bulbs are in, we can take our lenses. Inside our lenses is a tin plate. This tin plate stops the light from the indicator going into the lens of the stoplight and vice versa. So if we put our foot on the brake and our stoplight illuminates, it won't illuminate our indicator, because that could give people behind us the impression that we're indicating. As you see, the slot within the tin plate aligns with where the wiring is. So when you put the lamp cover on, or the lens cover on, it won't crush the wiring. Take our screws, place them in the face, small screwdriver, nip them up. They don't need to be done up so tight they split the lens. Same with the bottom. Our second lamp, the removable lenses should be glued in place so they shouldn't fall off. Same, slide our lens on, careful not to crush any of the wiring. Doing our screws up retains the face or the lens of the lamp. As I said, you don't need to do them up so tight that they shatter the lens. Take all your tools, put them to the side, approach your tutor and ask them to test your project. It should look something like this. Once your tutor has assessed it, they will get the trailer tester. So we'll take the trailer box, move it over here to the bench. Trailer tester here, plug in the trailer tester, our power supply needs to be turned on, our switches are in the on position. Alright, with everything in the off position, nothing should be going. We should have stop lights. Stoplights off, we should have tail lights. One of our lenses, one of our bulbs is not working, likely due to the terminals not being tight. We should have an indicator, left hand, and another indicator, right hand. Grab a screwdriver, and remove this lens. We'll see that our bulb is blowing. So our bulb can go in the bin and we'll fetch another one. Alright, back with a new bulb. Ah, look at that. All goes. Obviously a quick visual inspection of the bulb allowed me to determine it was blown. If you require fault finding, then your tutor can assist you with that. But that is, in a nutshell, how you should be carrying out this project, and I would expect it to look very much similar to this. You may not be able to do it in the time frame that I have, but you should certainly be able to do it to the quality by taking your time and doing things properly. Alright, Easy peasy.